Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 26th of September 2021, and the time now is 6:18 a.m. Well, today our topic is remembering our personal story is very important. Share what happened when you were 20 years old. Alright, so before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Alright, so here we go. Okay, so 20 years old, and actually I really found that once again, having topic like sharing what happened in the past, yeah, every year is actually a good thing because um, suddenly I found that I'm quite confused with the past recent years. Uh, what I was doing, and then uh, only today I found that yeah, when I was 20 years old, actually I entered uh, the college in 19 years old, which is I was uh, the intake of students in September. Yeah, yeah, but I thought it was like 20 years old. And yeah, I was quite confused. And having this topic, it gives me the chance um, to rethink and then to kind of re-experience. Yep. And then yeah, but it's still okay because I was the September intake students. So in when I was 20, I was still in the first year. I was still in the first year, and after a few months, yeah, because I just entered the college in September the previous year. So when I was 20, in the school, I feel like firstly, I make some friends, and some of my friends is actually my my friends which I met in primary school. They were my classmate. Yeah, at primary school. So it is like many years ago. Yeah, more than 10 years ago. Um, 10 years. Wait a minute. 10 years. Yeah, it's around 8 year and 10 years ago. And then actually we still can remember each others. We still recognize each other. So and also the one of the friend he actually invited me to go for lunch, and then also because we attending the class in the hall, and then he also asked me whether to sit together in the front few rows, and then I say okay. So and yeah, from that time actually yeah, I feel it is quite good because previously I sometimes I sit behind, and then I found that actually in the hall uh, there were a lot of students. They come in and out of the hall, so more or less you will be affected. And also people at the back like to chit chatting during the class. So if you, let's say, having class in the hall, sitting in the front is actually better than sitting at the back. Yeah, I just talking about the environment. Yep, and then second thing I want to talk about, which is the first year in my college, is the language. Yeah, because previously I was in an independent high school, and in that high school we actually use Chinese as the main language in the school, and even the the BM language. I mean the uh, Bahasa Malaysia isn't a language that we use a lot. Yeah, so we just use Chinese all the time. And then first year in the college, I find it very difficult. I find my textbook. yeah, it's something like I couldn't understand the whole book, and I find it very uh, uncomfortable when reading a book which is 100% English. Yep, and I also found that yeah, teacher in the class also they speak English, everything is English, and most importantly, uh, it seems like the things that uh, teachers is teaching and the things on the book sometimes they're not the same, and this is not what I have experienced in the past because in secondary school I found that actually um, everything is um, so fixed. If you talk about the syllabus and also the things come out in the exam, and I remember that in secondary school, I never prepare an exam, uh, let's say 2 days, 3 days before or 1 week before. No, uh, I I always prepare exam 1 or 2 days before. Uh, before, yeah, and then I managed to get a pass and sometimes managed to get 70 plus, and it wasn't that difficult to me. But in the college, I found that it's not the case, and uh, uh, I most of the subjects I found it very difficult, and mainly it's because of the language I couldn't understand, and second is because the things that we need to learn is kind of not fixed. We couldn't like memorizing the answer and then take it to the exam, write it out, get the marks. No, and it's more like you need to write down something. You need to write in paragraph. You need to write your thinking, something like that. So it was difficult to me. Yep. And then the only thing I feel easy is the mathematics subjects. Yeah, because I found that the mathematics in my high school is already difficult. Yeah, and when I finish my high school and go to college, I found that the mathematics question is more or less the same in my high school. So also in that subject, we don't have to write a lot in English. We just solve the mathematics questions. So that was the only subject I feel easy. Yep, and then during the exam, which is comes to the I think is the fourth quarter of the year, and then yeah, I get my result, and I failed quite many subjects. I remember that there were 4 subjects in the first year, and I only get 2, which is pass, and then the other 2 I fail. Yep. So yeah. So this is my first year experience in college, and in this year I think yeah, I wasn't really pay much attention in school, and I also I also didn't prepare well, and um, yeah, so I think this is the first year, and but I did uh, try to learn English in this year because I found that there's so many English words and I have to deal with it. So I basically did try to learn English to remember words, to try to write in sentence, something like that. Right? So I think these are my experience when I were 20 years old.
And when I was 20 years old, I also studied in college. Uh, this is this is the year one in the bachelor degree. And yeah, I would like to share about a story about one of my past best friend. So this is the past one.
Mm.
And yeah, and in A level, we've been together a lot of time. Yeah, we play the table tennis together.
Mm.
We sit next to next in the classroom, and yeah, and we do a lot of things together. Mm. And and uh, this is a friend. Yeah, this is a friend that I very care about. And one of the reasons is because his mindset is really suit me, and he he has an big he has a big ambitions. He want to
Mm.
become an entrepreneur. He want to uh do a business. He want to make a business
Yeah.
and contribute to the society. And his idol is the Jack Ma. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. And I slowly realized he is the person that's good at saying, but worse at doing. Mm. And but I have to say that he actually quite he actually uh, achieved his result very well by utilize his socialing skill, which is his talking, his saying skill. Yeah.
Mm.
And he is an extrovert. Yeah. Unlike me, I'm introvert. Mm. And I had to admit that sometimes I will feel jealous about his talented in socially. Mm. And in this is in A level, and when we went to the year one in degree,
Yeah.
and the relationship start to change, and I think the fault is mine. Yeah, the fault is mine, and because um, his result is not that good, and he want to improve his result, and I also want to help him. Yeah,
Mm.
and by becomes like overcare him, and I use the verbal aggressions to kind of like hurt him, and
Mm.
also try to demotivate him, and then try to raise his internal power to work
Mm.
hard, to study hard
Mm.
like that. I think I used the wrong method. Mm. And in the in the result, he start to leave me. And after one event, we completely uh, I couldn't say completely didn't talk anymore, but I would say that uh, after that event, and we seldom have the conversation. Yeah.
Mm.
So what's the event? Is actually is a presentations. So I actually shared you before in the emotions topic. Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a person that's good at saying but worse at doing. And when it comes to presentation, and everyone need to do the job, and he he can order you, but actually this is an economics presentation, so he's not really good at that, and he can he gives some idea, but in my humble opinion, that's not a good idea.
Mm.
And when it comes to doing, we need to gather the information we want to uh, uh, search the information, and then
Yeah.
prepare the PPT. So he's a person keep playing, and yeah, also another two friend is also keep playing, but but actually not so care the another two friends,
Mm.
because they are not my best friends, and uh, yeah, I didn't feel hurt at the time, and I only feel I hurt by these friends. Mm, yeah,
Mm.
and yeah, after the events, and I'm angry and I scold them, and yeah, after that, uh, we actually finished the presentations quite well, and but after that, we seldom have the contact. And I also after that time, I also because uh, I scored them. Yeah, I scored them, and then um, they they definitely will think like, yeah, this is a guy which is not good at uh, good to uh,
Make
stay
friends with.
together. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, not good at make friends with. Mm. And so after that presentation, I actually study yeah uh study by myself a lot of times. Yeah, of course, in the before the presentation, I also study by myself. But what I mean is in the classroom. Yeah, uh, they didn't sit together with me. They moved to another place to sit. Yeah, and yeah, and I sit at the uh, at the at the quote unquote old place. Yeah, I didn't move. I also don't have the intention move together with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I know this group of people, they don't want to study. They really don't pay attention on study. Yeah. But at that time, uh, my mind had changed. Yeah, my mind had changed, and also I also learned some things. Yeah. Uh, one of thing is there are something that cannot be said. Yeah, because it really hurts people, and after you broke their heart, it really cannot recover, cannot cannot recover their heart, cannot save the relationship. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I we will have one topic in future, which is something that you shouldn't say to your partner. Yeah, and it should be 2 months or 3 months later. We will
Okay.
have this topic. Yeah, and it's important lessons. But I won't say in the presentations I say something wrong. Yeah, that's not the case. But what I mean is I kind of like use the verbal aggressions to hurt my friend. Yeah, this is something that I shouldn't do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also one another thing is uh, in the world only one person can really make the change. Yeah, it's only you. Yeah, only you can make the change, and other people cannot help you. They can only like assist you and then give you some opinion, give you some advice. But you need to do the job. You need to do the thinking. You need to really think. Yeah, what you really want and what is right to you, what is wrong to you,
Yeah.
and uh yeah, and I won't criticize other people decisions nowadays. Yeah, but in the past, I would do that. Yeah, but if I see something illogical and something like really doesn't make sense, and yeah, I still criticize because it doesn't make sense. It's illogical, and one of the reason I want to criticize, actually, there's two reasons that I want to criticize. The first is because I really believe that if you couldn't say something that you think, you couldn't say out something that in your mind, this is really a suffering. It's a turtle. Yeah, it's a turtle, and this is similar to the self-actualizations. Yeah,
Yeah.
and in my early age, I actually actually not very sure the definition of self-actualization, but I have one rules which is I want to say something that in my mind. Yeah, I don't want to hide something.
Yeah.
This is a principle I give to myself. Yeah, but of course, I still need to learn to draw a line, and this is a lifelong journey. I need to learn to draw the line, which is something that you cannot say, and or maybe you you really want to say, you need to use uh some other technique, and some skill to not say directly, you need to say it indirectly. Yeah, or maybe you need to you cannot say all in once. You need to split into very many parts and say on different day. Yeah, so people can accept.
Yeah.
And also the third this is a second this is a two reason these are two reasons why I still will criticize some people opinion, some people opinion. When when it when it's not logic to me. And yeah, I also want to learn. I also want to understand. I also want to understand what they really think. Yeah, because sometimes by doing that, you really can reveal some reality. Yeah, something which is they are right. Sometimes they are right. And so I can learn from them. Yeah, and go back to the two reasons that that I learned. Yeah, just now I already mentioned one of thing is there's something that you cannot say, and the second thing is you need to be. I means me. Yeah, I means me. I need to be quote unquote more selfish. Yeah, more selfish, and I don't I don't know how to choose the terms, but I um yeah, if I want to create a term to describe this to describe this concept is something like the is something like the uh, appropriately selfish, or something like the uh, choosing selfish 选择性 yeah 选择性知识 something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to really like draw a line, and what thing you need to selfish, what thing you shouldn't be selfish. And the overall mindset is actually is maximize one's interest, maximize uh, one's benefits in long term. The ones is you, is me. Yeah. So for example, if you use the verbal aggressions to to kind of like demotivate people and try, and yeah, even though your motivation is good, but actually it create a negative impact. Yeah, it hurt people, and they kind of like want to do the opposite way. So
Yeah.
yeah, it actually didn't help them, and you kind of hurt them. And sometimes I also think that uh, I share a lot of things, and I try to help people, but they kind of like to do the opposite way.
Yeah.
So it's one of reason. Yeah. For example, I share the book to other people, I share the knowledge to other people, and they kind of like, uh, yeah, maybe, from their face, I can see that, they kind of really don't know about the thing, and but they kind of like try to use an attitude to deny the importance of the thing that I share, that I mentioned. Yeah. And one of the reason is because I'm just a student. I didn't have any achievement. So in the book of my favorite writer, Li Xiaolai, he also mentioned that you shouldn't like uh you shouldn't uh kind of like advise other people, or give other people suggestion, opinions in a very aggressive way. Kind of like you very actively doing on that thing, and people will think, yeah, who are you? Yeah. do, do you really have the ability? Do you really have the level? Yeah. Do you really already have you achieved the level that can advise other people? Something like that. So uh Mr. Lee suggests that we don't need to advise other people. We just make ourselves become better, and other people will seek our advice in future. Yeah. So this is the terms that I mentioned about, which is the chosen or choosing selfish or appropriately selfish. Yeah.
Mm.
And yeah, because you use verbal aggressions, you couldn't help them. Yeah. And if you really want to help them, what you shouldn't do is you shouldn't advise them. You attract them to seek for your advice. Yeah, this is something that you want to do. And by doing by actively advise other people, like recommend other people books, it didn't help. Mm.
Mm.
And it actually also hurt the relationship. Yeah. So the core idea is maximize one interest, maximize one's benefits. So this is something that you shouldn't do, because you kind of like put your effort in an ineffective and inefficient manner.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So this is two of the things that I learned from that I learned in uh, when I was 20. Mm.
Mm.
And another example that I actually make the uh, make the results go to the opposite is when I am A level, I actually yeah uh two of my friends, including me, so three, we actually want to study, want to learn how to do investment, because we learned that one of our classmates, he make a lot of money from investment, but I'm not sure whether is it real or is it just a lie. Yeah, because he say he used 5 years to turn 1,000 into 200K. Yeah, 200K,
Mm.
and this is in Malaysian market. Yeah, so uh by now I learn actually quite familiar the Malaysian markets, because I have some because I have some investment in the past in Malaysian market.
Yeah.
So I truly believe this is impossible. Yeah, I truly believe it's impossible by using his method, because what is his method? His method is, for example, you have 1,000 ringgit, and then you invest, and when the stock price increase 100%, and then you take out 50%, so that means in your initial capital from 1,000 grow to 2,000, so
Mm.
you take out 1,000, you still have the position in the ticker, and then you use, and now you have the 1,000 worth of share, and also 1,000 worth of cash, and then you use the 1,000 cash invest in another stock. Yeah,
Mm.
and this is one of method, and another method is something like uh you keep your cash, and you keep your cash around uh 33%. Yeah, 33%. You hold 33% of cash, and then you invest like 70% of of the cash into the ticker,
Mm.
into the stock, and when the stock price like drop, and then you put in more. And by using this method, in my opinion, it is really impossible to grow 1,000 to 200,000 in 5 years time. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you need to know that the persons at that time is around 21. Yeah, he's older 1 years than us. 21, and he start do investment 5 years earlier. He used his uncle account to do the investment. And for a person who only age 15, and yeah, and also he say he learned the investment from one of the teacher, one of the gurus. And after after learning that, and then he become very good, become like the expert, and can grow. He didn't make any mistake. He didn't like lose a lot of money, and use only 5 years. When and when he just start to do the investment, and he don't have the failure period. Yeah, and actually many investors have the failure periods. So far as I know, and only if you feel a lot of time, it really hurt you. It really make you think, make you construct your own investing methods to really know what you want. Yeah, to really know what you should do. Yeah, what's the implication of the behavior, and only after that you can start to earn money. You can start to be patient.
Yeah.
And it requires long times. Yeah, I don't believe you can use like maybe few months to overcome it, and after go to some class teach by an expert, teach by gurus, and you can skip the period, and you can start to grow 1,000 to 200,000 in 5 years. I certainly think that is impossible. Yeah. So uh, back to my friend's case, and three of them feel motivated, and we want to learn the investment, and I do some research. And then I found that, yeah, there's one blocker which is very good, and the writer of the blocker published two books, and I want to buy, and then I asked two of my friends, yeah, we can buy together because the book is quite expensive at that for us at that time. It's like 100+ ringgit for two books. And we buy together, and then we share to read, and then I give them hard copy. Yeah, because there's also soft copy I can read. Yeah, so I read the soft copy. But ironically is I finished two books in soft copy form, and they didn't like really start to read the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is a preface. It's a preface. This is the quote unquote pre-story, and the real story is this uh in year one. And this day this once this one day we sit we we have the chance to sit together. Yeah, me and uh my past best friends. Yeah. And we also say something. Yeah, we also kind of like discuss something about business, about investment. And because at that time uh I kind of like really uh, put myself in learning the investing. and when the teacher, when the lecturer uh, are lecturing, then I take out a piece of paper, and then I and I try to count. I try to count the fair price, the intrinsic value of one company stock by using the dividend, by using the it's so-called the discounted dividends model. Yeah, yeah, or maybe it's something like the dividend discounting model. Yeah, yeah. And then my friend saw me doing that, and then yeah, I really enjoy in doing that. I didn't bother
Yeah.
other people. Yeah, and then uh when it is rest, yeah, uh and my friend told me that, yeah, he actually decided, yeah, quote unquote decided not to do investment, and he want to put all his focus in business because he realized that uh, if you put time into the investment, and then at the same time you need to take care the investment. At the same time, you also need to take care the business, the enterprise, and you couldn't get them well, and you need to choose. either you learn to do investment, you put your time on investment, either you doing business. Yeah, this is what he told me. Yeah, at that time, because I just start to learn investing, and I didn't like object him, because at that time I slowly know uh, how to be choosing selfish. Yeah, so yeah, even though I know there's something wrong, and I know I couldn't give a very uh, a good point to object his idea, to make objections. Yeah, yeah. Of course, now I can. Yeah, now I can. But at that time, I cannot. And but I truly know that this is something wrong. There's something wrong. Yeah, I just couldn't give a good objection. Yeah, but I also can give the objection, but I choose not to do that. Mm, yeah. So yeah, this is the whole story. Mm.
Mm. Yep.
Mm. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, for the second part, just now you say something like the appropriate selfish, something like that, right? Yeah, for this one, I really think, yeah, it's not easy to sometimes giving opinion to people, especially when because I feel like sometimes it is not something they hope to hear from you, and then this is not something they need or something like that, and sometimes giving opinion and maybe criticize, yeah, really will make the relationship worse
Yeah.
rather than good, because sometimes in our opinion we think this is a good intention, uh, it is good for them, but to them, as a receiver, I think the emotion part is negative, and then because of that they couldn't even get any benefit from that.
Yes. Yeah, and it remind me about something that uh, that in the book that I recently read, that I'm reading,
Mm,
and the book name is No More Mr. Guys, and this is teach you how to deal with the relationship with women, but also it apply to men. And one of the thing is mentioned is um the idea is something like uh the Mr. Nice Guy, he kind of like have the okay, there's two words, but I forget the first word is something like the uh concept contract. Yeah, I forget the first word, but it's
mm,
something like he have the mental contract with you, with other people, and it's actually the contract actually exists in his mind, and other people will feel totally illogical, totally doesn't make sense, but uh but more or less we have this kind of mental contract with other people. And what's the contract for is actually like you're giving other people, and then you expect a returns. It's also something that I mentioned uh, in the prior conversation. Yeah, they give something and then they expect the returns.
mm,
Yeah, and when they cannot get the returns, they kind of like become the become passive passive aggressive. Yeah, aggressive. So maybe using like the verbal aggressions, or maybe using like the ignore, using like the uh silent. Yeah.
mm. Yeah.
So to react to your counterparty, which is your friends or your partner. Yeah,
Mm,
and your partner, your friends have no idea why have no idea about your behavior, your uncommon behavior. So they'll kind of like want to be away from you, want to leave you,
yeah.
and stay away from you. And certainly, suddenly it become unbearable, and you start to scold them, and you become aggressive, and you become angry, and express your negative emotion, your feeling to them. And this is some most of the time is most of the time when you say something that shouldn't be said. Yeah. And after the time you release all your negative, all your energy, and then you back to the normal, and then you start to accumulate the energy again. So it is something like the vicious uh, a vicious cycle, the best cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when it apply to the relationship, yeah, what the hell when you need to give something that you think is good for them. Yeah, you don't need to do that, and you don't need to like yeah even yeah I have shifted my focus start from a few years ago. When I do the sharing, I don't expect they'll listen to me. I just want to improve myself. Yeah, the focus has been changed. So I share because I think it's important. I want to reinforce my behavior. I want to reinforce my attitude.
Yeah.
So the ABC, yeah. Sometimes you can use your behavior to bring your attitude, but sometimes if you have a chance, why not you also use your attitude to bring your behavior go to the same level. Yeah, if you have the chance, right? So
Yeah.
my focus has been shifted. If I do the sharing, I only focus about uh yeah. First, I want to share something that I truly believe. I think is right. Yeah, and I want to keep doing that. Yeah. So this is also the first thing is because of self-actualization. I don't want to become the person say something that they are not truly believe. Yeah. Yeah. And this is the first thing. And second thing is I want to reinforce my behavior. Yeah. So I really doesn't care other people take my advice or take my suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the contract just now you mentioned is it something similar to exchange, and you
Yeah.
think that you already contribute a lot to others, but you couldn't get the expected return?
Yeah. 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 It's something like that. And this is this critical point, and uh, I forget to mention. Yeah, the main point is at here. You actually did expect something from other people. Yeah, for example, if let's say I keep do the sharing in our daily conversation, and I actually keep expecting you can give some returns. For example, maybe in money form, or uh, maybe in other form. Yeah. Uh, or uh, yeah, yeah. I couldn't think in another form. Yeah. For example, recommend a girl to me. Yeah, but by
Oh.
that, yeah. So yeah, I couldn't think in another form. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say I keep expecting this, and it actually will result in what situation is in our conversations, and quite oftenly I will say something that uh, yeah, I did contribute you a lot, and you need remember you owe me something. Yeah, remember you need to pay me something back, something like that. Yeah. So um, try to put this scenario in the relationship in your uh, try to put this uh, to your friendship, to your partner, and if when you communicate with them, when they communicate with you, and try to imagine they keep mentioning about this thing. Yeah, for example, when you lend them the money,
Yeah.
and when you sorry yeah when they lend them your money, when they lend you their money in the past, and also when they give you some helps in the past, and they keep mentioning about the thing. Yeah, you remember last time I helped you, and yeah, and then, and you feel weird, and you kind of like want to stay away from them. You don't want
Yeah.
to make friends with them, and you also don't want to you don't want to seek the help from them in futures. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it actually is not good in the relationship. And when a people, sorry, when a person actually have so-called the quote-unquote mental contract in their mind, they give other people, they contribute, they expect the returns, and it will reflect on their talking, it will reflect on their behavior.
Mm.
Yeah, even in the body language. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, go back to the point that I made in the previous conversations. You shouldn't give something that you think is important, and you have little about the thing. Yeah, and you need to give something that people need, people want.
Mm.
Yeah, even though it is rubbish, it's a trust to you. Yeah, you give something that people need, people want, and then you give something people that you have a lot. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, of course, sometimes you couldn't find the intersections. Sometimes
Yeah.
you really think this is the good things you want to recommend other people, and but when you recommend other people, you shouldn't expect the returns. So it
Mm.
comes to the point which is you shouldn't give something that you have only little. Yeah. And
Mm. Yeah.
and if you have a lot of things, yeah, let's say you are very rich, you can buy them a lot of gifts, and but in a relationship, you shouldn't keep giving, you shouldn't keep give them the things. Yeah. And and by giving something that you think they'll like, you think they want, is in your opinion, you shouldn't do that. What you
Mm.
need to do is you give something that other people want, that other people need.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. For here, I have two example which I hear from people around me. One is my mom, and my mom say that she has a friend, and this friend like to offer help to her. For example, sometimes she went to the market and then she buy some grocery, some chicken, fish, and she would kind of ask my mom whether she want so that she could also buy two and then give and then something like buy for you. Yeah, but of course my mother will have to pay her, but don't have to go to the market, something like that.
Mm.
Uh, and also my mother and her friends live quite near, so it's kind of helping. Uh, uh, and then my mom don't have to go to the market. Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is good. And then also at the same time, this friend um, uh, like to have like to call my mom and then talk about many things in her life. Sometimes it's about some bad things, some negative feelings. Sometimes it's some story of her, or maybe some things happen in her daily life. Yeah, something like that. And yeah, and one day my mom said that this friend is quite strange because she got angry sometimes very easily. And after I hear the whole story, I found that actually is that this friend keep giving something, keep contributing to my mom, offering help to buy something, and then sharing her own things to my mom. And then actually she is expecting something back from my mom. For example, sometimes uh, she would ask my mom whether she go to the market this weekend and then whether she can help to buy something. Uh, and also sometimes she asks my mom about she expect to get uh, some story in her daily life, something like that. But my mom is kind of person introvert, don't like to share those things which is related to family. We think this is not something we should tell you, something like that. But she did tell us. So I think with these expectations, she sometimes uh, uh, get angry with my mom.
Mm.
Yeah, because she gave something we don't really need, and she did expect the same thing from us. So yeah, so in the relationship, in the friendship, it is not easy. Yeah, for these two person, for
Yeah.
these two people.
Mm.
And another example is my younger brother, and he said that a few years ago, uh, he attend his friend's birthday party, and then she bought a birthday gift, which is a book, yeah, to his friends. And then yeah, and later that he found that this friend he actually didn't read the books even after 1 or 2 years, because he kind of tried to uh, he had the chance to talk about something which is in the book, and he found that this friends has almost little knowledge about that. So he found that actually giving book it seems like it's a good thing uh, from our perspective, but actually to others maybe you need to give the book to the person who really need it. I mean, maybe some people had the reading habit, or even with reading habit, you need to think what kind of book he need or he likes, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm. Yep.
Yeah. Very good example to explain the concept, the theory. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And actually, I very appreciate. I also very glad. Uh, I can have the conversation with you daily. Yeah. And and you actually appear in my gratitude journal quite a lot of time. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah, actually,
sometimes,
you too in my journal, because I also started to write 3 things I appreciate most in a day 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
Mm,
And sometimes is you find a very very great video, and then it open my mind. And sometimes is you give a very good point, and sometimes is you kind of like give a good example, and sometimes it's like uh appreciate your listening. Yeah, because I keep talking. And
mm,
sometimes is like uh yeah, you really pay attention in listening. Yeah. And you can ask some questions. Yeah, some really good questions. And let me have to think. Yeah, let me have uh, really need to think in deep. And
mm,
sometimes you gave a good topic. For example, trustworthiness. Yeah, this is a really really good topic. And also one of the topic is about the three pill. Yeah, the three pill that you have to choose. Mm.
mm,
Yeah. So it made me think. It made me think quite a lot of time, even after the conversation. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So I really appreciate.
mm,
And the most appreciating thing is that you come to me, and then yeah, we have the daily English conversation. And I actually know this is really really difficult to find a person that can have a daily conversation. Yeah, and without skipping a day. Yeah,
yeah.
one time without skipping one time. Yeah.
Mm,
So and also mentioning about the self actualization that I make the point just now.
mm,
And yeah, I want to share. I want to share. But I couldn't find a manual. But I couldn't find a channel. Yeah. Uh, and also, yeah, of course, I can write an article. I can use my blogger. I can like share. I can film into a video. But it's something like don't have. it didn't create an environment to force me to do the things
Mm.
all the days, yeah, every day. But if we have the daily conversation, it's something like create an environment and force me to do this every day, and it will become a habit. Mm,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, to me, I also feel like it is not easy. Sometimes, even when you want to talk to your friends, maybe during lunch or maybe your colleagues in workplace, and you found that sometimes they just couldn't care about the topic you're talking, right?
yeah,
And not every people can join particular topic, and
mm,
then also because of one problem, because for example we have conversations for a years and more than a years, and we actually came across many things previously, so uh, we can use the terms and then we know what you want to talk about, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
for other people it is not easy. You have to something like talk from the very very basic things, and
yeah,
then to get the common sense first before to get into that discussion.
mm, yeah,
Mm, yeah, and also the for the things that we feel gratitude to. Uh, I mean the journal. I found that sometimes the things that I write in, uh, um, yeah, it's kind of based on our attitude. For example, a weeks ago, I think it's 2 weeks ago, I had an argument with my girlfriend, and then actually after the argument, I wrote her in the journal because I found that even though in that argument we feel bad, but I did actually learn something. Yeah,
yeah,
and then the things that we write into may not be a happy thing, or may not be it could be someone that do something bad to you. Also, you can write it in, right? You did
mm,
learn something. You it depends on your attitude, I think.
mm, yeah. And uh, I forget whether I mentioned this before. Uh, for the journaling, especially for the gratitude journal, when we write something is good, we we need to avoid to analyze why we get the things, why we get the benefits. If, for example, it's because I did some behavior because I help other people, so I get the returns. Now you should try to avoid the analyzing. You should try to write something the fact, the reality, what you get. Yeah. So you should write about the what, not about the why. And you also can write about the how to
Mm.
to re-experience. The technical term is re-experience the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah. So it's kind of like for example, let's say some people celebrate the birthday with you.
Mm.
So what you should write is, wow. For example, in the morning, I go to there. So let's say I go to the school, I go into the classroom, and everyone act like nothing happens, and I almost forget this is my birthday today. And in the lunchtime, and they kind of like give me a surprise, and it really shocked me, and it also
Mm.
really touched me, and I can see the face in my friend. They really smell uh, like a sun, like a sunshine, and I couldn't I barely open my mind, and also open my eyes to really look at their face. Yeah,
Mm.
and it is too appealing to me. And for example, and also yeah, and we have a great celebration, and everyone uh, uh, wish me uh, have a good uh, uh, let's say get a good result in the final exams, or
Yeah.
get a good job after graduate. Yeah, and the cake is really really delicious. And I asked whether I should pay them the money, and they say no. This is your birthday. How come you can how come can let you pay the money? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you shouldn't worry about that. Yeah. So yeah, you say yeah. So now at night I think about this, and when I was writing about this, I feel really really grateful. for all my friends. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm really grateful about that. Yeah, this is something that you experience the whole thing. And what you shouldn't write is because for example,
Yeah.
in the beginning of the year, I actually give them a very expensive gift. I
Mm.
also celebrate their birthday. So now uh
Now it's their turn.
now it's their turn. So the lesson here is you need to give other people so other people will give you. Yeah, so it's kind of like you analyze, you try to find something that you can learn from the event. No, you shouldn't write that. You should just
Mm.
experience the whole thing. This is
Mm.
when you write about the good things. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So apply for all the good things. Yeah, and for all about the bad things, what you need to do, and you can write the fact. Yeah, but what you need to do, this is what you need to do is you write something that you can learn from that.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and it can and uh scientific proven is by doing that it can boost your happiness level. So when you write about the bad things and if you try to analyze it, you try to like kind of learn, try to find something learn from that, it increase your happiness level. And when you write about good thing, so you try to re-experience the whole thing, and it also increase your happiness level. So the whole journal, the whole, let's say, the gratitude journal or the
Yeah.
normal journaling uh can increase your happiness level. So this is the I should say the one of the only two uh tips and things we need to bear in mind when we practicing the journal. And another
Mm.
thing is you need to do it every day. Do this every
Mm.
day, and you shouldn't like yeah, even though you have nothing to write, and you should write something, and try to embrace the freshness. Yeah, this is also
Yeah.
something that I mentioned in the past. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you have anything on to add in?
No. Yeah.
Okay. So that's all for our today conversations. How do you feel? Did you enjoy the conversations? Please tell us what you think of our conversations. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocabulary mistake that we made, please also comment to let us know, because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like, subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.